Thanks for joining me on another video. I'm going to run through some of the kit that I'm taking tomorrow when I go on a trip in the northwest of Scotland, up near Inverness or beyond Inverness. It's early March, the 1st of March, but winter's arrived quite late, so it's really winter conditions still tomorrow. The forecast is for sun and not much precipitation, so that's good. Hopefully be a good day, a good winter day in the hill, but the wind has to be high. I'm just going to do one hill tomorrow and then I'm going to drop down and hopefully camp in a sheltered spot. We'll see how that goes based on the wind. So this is really a run through of my winter kit. I'm pretty much taking the heaviest version of everything that I've got, and I'm expecting the pack to be quite heavy, so as a result of that I'm only doing quite a short walk tomorrow. It's only about 11 kilometres and about 1,000 metres of ascent, so pretty small, but with the size of pack I think that's advisable. So full winter boot. If you saw my last video, then you'll see a close-up of that. A stiff winter boot that's able to take a full set of crampons, clip-on crampons. I've got the snow pegs. I'm expecting to be pitching on snow or ice. I've got my heaviest sleeping bag. It's enormous, you can see, and it's about 1.8 kilos, so it's really heavy, but it's to go down to probably -5 or below overnight, so I think that might be needed. And in here is my geodesic self-supporting tent, so it doesn't require pegs to stand up, you know, it's self-standing. So when you're pitching in snow and ice, then that's good, and it's also strong, so for the high winds that should be good. So I'll show you a picture of that. I'm actually not taking my heaviest air mat. I'm taking Thermarest Neo Air X Lite. It's still got a decent R value, and I'm supplementing that with 2 closed cell foam mats. So that's just to provide that redundancy. If something happens to the air mat, then I've still got these, and I prefer that rather than just relying on one air mat with a higher R value. If it fails, then you're in a pickle. So redundancy there is important. Gloves, 3 sets of gloves, mitts, fingered, and another set of mitts, and then 2 or 3 liner pairs of gloves as well. So, you know, particularly when it's windy, that's important. Got a pillow. It's a 60-litre rucksack that I'm taking. I'll probably need, or I will need to attach some stuff to the outside to let me carry all of this, so it's a big volume of kit. That's my tent clothes, you know, so that I can have a full change. I've got 2 down jackets in there and a pair of insulated trousers, so, and a t-shirt I think. So, you know, that's something I would never take in summer, for example, that amount of extra clothes. And indeed, that's my spare hats and gloves, so again a significant volume. Wee stove, first aid kit. In here's all the electronics, so I've got a battery pack, a spare battery pack, I've got a spare head torch, my other head torch is in the bag already, a couple of spare batteries for the head torch, I went through that in the last video, a spare compass, spare shoelace, again I went through all of that in the last video if you want to take a look at it. My ice axe is in the car. I realise I've not got that in here, but I will take that obviously. Just one ice axe because it's not a particularly tricky route. goggles, ski goggles, really good if it's windy. And in my chest pouch I've got the map and compass, again went through that in the last video. I've got my what do you call that, you know, my Garmin, and my gloves and some snacks. Bag of food, only going one night so I don't need very much. That's my waterproof jacket and so on is in there. And then in terms of the clothes that I'm wearing, I'll be wearing Paramore trousers, just one set of trousers, wear them the whole time. They work really well, they're braces. They're very warm, very heavy, but ideal for this sort of time of year. And then tomorrow I will just wear a wool base layer, a fleece, and then a windproof, because it gets really steep really quickly. So I think that will be the way to start. And then I've got a waterproof jacket and an insulating layer if I need it, if it does get cold. So that's a run through of the kit that I'm taking. In contrast to some of the videos, not really any decisions needing to be made. I basically take the heaviest and warmest or whatever version of everything that I've got, so it's pretty simple. And I'll put the lighter pack link in the description, and I'll put the base weight if you're interested. So we'll see how I get on. 11.9 kilos base weight. I've not too long set out, and it's a beautiful day, which I expected. It does feel a bit more like spring than winter, it has to be said. Some snow in those hills over there. Camped in one of them a few months ago actually, on the top. But probably 100 metres up and there's no snow so far. It was -4 when I set out. The wind was getting stronger and stronger as I ascended the hill, and as I reached 900 metres I recorded a wind speed of 54 miles per hour, and it probably got a bit stronger after that. I considered turning back because it really was tricky, and I couldn't film much, partly because I needed to concentrate and partly just it was difficult to get the camera out. But you can see it was blue sky and it was still a beautiful day, but I just needed to press on and get into the lee of the wind, which I did just shortly after reaching the summit. And then you see that I took a wee break and had something to eat. only one that's found this a windy hill. Someone's made a little shelter. Oh, that makes all the difference. It's been incredibly windy today, but you can see that it's blue sky, brilliant views, although it was so windy that I couldn't even get the camera out at some point. But I'm in this wee shelter now for a little break. The bit I was going to camp at overnight is actually just round there, but given that it's just 1:30 and the wind is still very strong, I think I'll probably drop down and camp a bit lower, and that'll give me less to do tomorrow. I do actually have to get back for work tomorrow, so I could do with being a bit closer to the end in the morning. Still blue sky though. The weather has to deteriorate, but at the moment, so far so good, it's holding. They weren't sure if it was going to be the afternoon or the evening. At the moment, it looks like it might be the evening, which is good news for me. I think this will do for the pitch. There's the tent. Not a bad spot, fairly flat and with a good view. Put the tent up and then collected some water from the stream nearby, put in the additional guy lines onto the tent because the forecast was quite high winds overnight, and then once I'd done all that, it was time to settle down and make a nice cup of tea, which was well needed by this point in the day. I'm usually rushing to get the tent up before it gets dark. So it's quite nice today. I've got the tent up in the light quite early, very early actually. So we can go out and have a wee look outside. Here's the sleep setup. So I've got the closed cell mat on top of the Neo Air X Lite, and underneath that actually I've got another foam mat. That's just my t-shirt with a pillow in it, and then this is the Rab down sleeping bag. Let's see what sort of morning we've got. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that video. It was a wee bit different because I had a bit more time in camp than I normally do, so I took a bit more footage there, and hopefully that was interesting or enjoyable. It was a good trip. You can see that I got good weather in terms of blue skies. It was incredibly windy, so I didn't get the best footage from up high. It really was challenging, and I think I said in the video that I considered turning back more than once, but I pressed on and it was okay. Once I dropped off into the lee of the hill, the wind calmed down. I measured the wind again. It was about 45 miles per hour after that, which is okay. But it was probably 55 to 60 on the summit, and that was too much. But overall, it was a good trip. The kit that I took, I was glad that I took my crampons. They were essential in that strong wind. It was windswept ice, so it was slippy. So I was really glad to have my boots and my crampons. And the clothes that I wore were good. They were fine. It wasn't an especially cold day. And then I was pleased that I'd taken the tent that I'd taken. You see pictures of that. Because the wind was reasonably strong overnight. And although I'd thought I was going to camp higher and camp on snow and ice, and I didn't do that, I was still pleased that I'd taken that tent just because of the wind. So I think that was good. The one thing that did happen was that the forecast said it was going to be potentially -4, -5 overnight, and they really got that dramatically wrong. It didn't get below about 3 or 4 actually overnight, and so it was much warmer. So the sleeping bag that I'd taken was way over spec for those temperatures. I actually didn't zip it up, I just used it as a kind of open duvet. So that was the one thing. I ended up carrying that and didn't really need to, but as ever, you have to go prepared for conditions that are worse, and if you get them better, then it's lucky or unlucky depending on how you look at it in terms of carrying weight. But overall, a good trip. Thanks very much for watching once again. Always keen to hear comments from other people about the kit they take or what they would do differently. So please feel free to add them. Thanks very much.